Well, month and a half till Silver Kings, still dealing with an underpowered 200 that's not running quite right and a hand that is not healing. If this project has taught me anything so far, it's that life does not always go as planned and you gotta roll with the punches and make the most of it. You guys were immensely helpful in the comments of the last video. I have some pretty knowledgeable viewers out there. I have a ton of great suggestions of things that could be the real culprit for this bike. I'm going to start with what I think is most likely and move from there if I don't resolve the issue, beginning with a new Hinton clutch pack and a new spark plug. One more thing, the best ways to support this channel if you are enjoying these videos is to use my Rocky Mountain ATV MC link in the description below. I will earn a commission on your purchases at no extra cost to you, and you can also enter to win the KLX 143 pit bike I'm building, or go get some merch on my website, which also enters you for the pit bike. Let's jump into it and hopefully get this thing running like it should be in this episode. I began by soaking those brand new Hinton fibers in oil prior to installation using this sweet 3D printed plate holder that a viewer sent me, and then got the clutch pack removed with the bike lying on its side. One comment I got was to ensure that the clutch pressure plate was not grooved or worn, as that could cause the clutch thickness to be incorrect and allow slippage. The pressure plate looked just fine, so that was not a problem, but still some great insight. Now take a look at how much different these Hinton springs are. A little thinner, but much taller. Swapping the clutch pack is a quick and easy task, and I verified the pack and springs were separating and releasing properly by actuating the clutch lever. Next up, although I had already done this, I verified my Y dimension one more time, precisely measuring the distance from the clutch push rod to the case and verifying I was using the correct size gasket under the slave cylinder. The bike then received a new spark plug just for peace of mind and to count out such a simple item as the possible culprit, and then I shifted my attention to the Powervalve. While Matt and I played with the Powervalve setting previously, we did it by feel, and if the clutch was slipping, that feel probably wasn't correct. Thus, I pulled the pipe and the Powervalve covers to check alignment. It was tricky to try and film, but I can say with certainty the actuator arm and Powervalve arm are aligned properly. I adjusted the Powervalve to the Langston setting, which ended up being only about one turn out from fully tight. Now this header has sat a little cockeyed in the cylinder due to a small kink ever since I bought the bike. With the pipe off, I added a little gasket maker just to ensure this was still getting a proper seal in the cylinder, despite sitting a little sideways. We got it. Now, there were a million comments about the FMF gnarly and saying how it robs top end on this bike. Now, unfortunately, an OEM header for this bike is $400 and I can't find anything else. A lot of people said, if you can find a fatty, try one. I looked around a little bit, couldn't really find one. So if anyone has old 200 parts and wants to sell me a different pipe that's not a gnarly for cheap, leave me a comment, reach out, shoot me an email, whatever. I would be super curious to try a different pipe and see if it has any improvements on the top end. But I'm actually feeling pretty good about this right now. It is definitely running better than it did. It's ready for another test, and the low to mid is super strong, which is where I will be using it most of the time, I think, in Silver Kings. The reason this top end is so important is for any of those really big, long, nasty hill climbs, this thing has to pull its weight, be able to be in that power band and keep singing, allow me to keep momentum and pull up those hills. So it is important. I need to get this thing perfect, but I think we're ready for the next test on dirt. I'd also like to note there were a couple comments on ignition timing. There are 2 marks in this case. I have tried the stator and timing at both with no noticeable differences. So while timing was a possibility, I do not think it's a culprit. Multiple comments also suggested getting a 125 or 150 CDI box, and that is something I'm considering trying. Sounds like it'd be a solid improvement. So before I go out and ride this thing, a little bit on the hand issue. So I've got this thing x-rayed, nothing's broken. It flared up after the GNCC, but it wasn't like anything really happened. I definitely bashed some trees and things like that. The hand was bruised, but I didn't think anything was wrong. And now I seem to have a nerve issue through my pinky and into my palm. And when I ride, my pinky swells up and then the pain goes through my palm. And by the end of a hard ride, it feels like I don't have a grip on my bike. The best thing I can relate it to is feeling like you're just holding the metal handlebar. So it's something I am able to ride through and work through. It's obviously not ideal, and the fact that it's not improving is also not ideal. I've been doing acupuncture, I've been doing PT, I've been taking all the correct supplements. So I'm doing everything I can to try and get this resolved. I've never had something like this where it seems to be a nerve issue that isn't clear how to fix it. So I'm doing the best I can. It's definitely affecting me and impacting my day-to-day at this point, but it's not keeping me off the bike, which is good, although it is limiting the intensity of my rides. So it's making me a little nervous for the XC series and then of course Silver Kings, but I'm gonna do the absolute best I can given the cards I'm dealt here, so it is what it is. But one thing I am going to do is swap to these grips. These are the Motion Pro lock-ons. My buddy Cole McLeod had these, shout out Cole, and I loved them. I had never seen or tried these grips before and I thought they were amazing. I felt super in tune with the bike and comfortable hanging onto those bars, so I bought 2 sets of these to go on both of my bikes. So we're gonna toss these on and then let's go rip this thing. New grips installed, I headed out to Pipestone for some hard enduro riding to further test the 200 and the 4th annual Pipestone Kegger.
Going to hit Yabba Dabba, kind of reasonably technical trail, test out the 200, right with good old Tedward. Good to have the boy back in the USA. Dude, I'm kind of scared to try this right now. Hell yeah. Oh, he made it look so easy. I am nervous. God, dude, that is nerve-wracking. Yeah, yeah. She's nice and torquey right now. Like, the load of it is solid, which is exactly what I should expect of this bike. It makes me so curious to try a different pipe to see if I can get more top end out of it without sacrificing load a bit. Because again, there's going to be some big climbs at Silver Kings, but this thing's fun in the single track, dude. I am like really enjoying this bike now. It's better, for sure better. Oh boy, the hand's already fatiguing. But mama ain't raised no bitch. Dude, this thing feels so smooth now. Dude, good freaking riding with you again. Yeah. Missed having you around here. Ripping. No. The one thing I'm always so curious about this thing is like how easy it should be to pick up the front wheel in different gears and at different RPMs. Because like, you know, on the 4-stroke, you can do it whenever you want. Little clutch, the front wheel's off the ground. Pretty much no matter what. And this bike, you really gotta ride it just right, I think. And I don't know if that's how it should be, just being a, you know, smaller bore 2-stroke, or if I'm still missing a little something. But you saw like on some rocks earlier and everything, I'm able to pick the front wheel up over those, and dude, I feel like we're damn close. I'm really starting to get happy with this thing. I think everything I'm doing is headed in the right direction. Damn. Oh, I did your line. You like that little line? Yeah. Dude, I'm pretty good on this thing. Yeah. Figuring out getting the wheel up and using that low end. This thing's fun.
You look good on it.
Thanks, dude.
After some more hard enduro the next day, as well as some fast, flowy single track leading up to the kegger, I think I've got this bike figured out. I made a couple minor tuning adjustments to the smart carb, and this bike is now fast and fun to ride. There was a point before where I felt like I had to wring its neck to go anywhere, and now this bike likes to move and stays on the pipe, but also has an impressively strong bottom end where I am able to lift the front wheel up and get over obstacles. I do think the clutch was slipping, and I also think the power valve adjustment helped. With an incredible weekend done and dusted, I have something exciting in store for episode 12 of the KTM 200 series.